Yes, hello, welcome, and welcome to a brand new episode of Knowledge Word Sharing Season 3. Yes, we are turning 3 already. Time flies very fast. And also, we are back with one of the our favorite people on podcast, which is also my close friend, my dear friend, Chrishanne Sebastian Pillay, aka Chrishanne the Wordsmith. So in season two, we have created the record for the longest podcast episode by interviewing this friend of mine here, which goes on for over 2 hours. So we are looking forward for more interesting and more wonderful inputs from my friend. Okay, no pun intended. I just like want to welcome my dear friend back to the podcast. So, Christian, welcome back to Knowledge Worth Sharing. How are
Thank
you?
you, Yuva. I'm fine, thank you. It's about a year since we did the first you interviewing me and then I interviewing you.
Mm-hmm,
So
yes.
very soon I will be putting up content for season 2 of my
Yeah.
podcast and also content for my business YouTube channel. And for you, it is season 3.
Yeah.
So you
Thank you.
are a bit more experienced and knowledgeable when it comes to this thing, and I look forward to learning more from you. So thank you very much, Yuva, for inviting me back.
I mean, thank you, Christian. Thank you for giving this wonderful input, and especially about your line of work, because your line of work is not is can be say like a little mysterious kind of line of work, because like, yeah, maybe okay, proofreading, copy editing, copywriting, yeah, people have, many people have heard of it, people have used it, but they do not know
Okay.
what are the actual requirements, what actual training, what are actual skills required to do this type of thing. And I'm sorry to say, Christian, some people might take people like you for
Mm-hmm.
granted, because like they say, oh, okay, I want to save cost. I can use Grammarly. I can use all these wonderful AI tools out there. But
Yes.
you know, I believe personally, I think for nostalgic reason, I think human touch is definitely needed, especially when you want to do something professional, like resume writing, or like want to edit some important academic documents and so on. So, Christian, yeah, as I say again, welcome to the podcast again. And hopefully, maybe will we have another 2 hour podcast? I'm not so sure, but let's see how the things go. Okay, let's go by the flow. Okay. All right. So,
Shall see.
Christian,
Yes, as you said, we will go with the flow, depending on
yeah,
how the conversation goes.
yes. So, Christian, let's start with the first question. So, the year 2022 has been pretty rough, but not as rough as the year before, right? We are just
Yes.
entering endemic. The COVID situation in Malaysia somehow is being controlled in a way.
Mm-hmm.
We still have some cases, but not as bad as the year and the year before that.
Yes.
So slowly all the sectors are starting to opening up,
Mm-hmm.
especially towards the middle part of the year, right? So,
Yes.
Christian, I want to ask you, how has the year 2022 been for you?
The year 2022 has been eventful and in good ways and not so good ways.
Mhm.
Yes, we are in the, I think towards, I think April or somewhere in July last year was
Mhm.
when the international airport was fully open for travel. And that's great news for my friends like yourself who have
Mhm.
taken that opportunity to travel overseas and whatnot.
Oh
Uh,
yes, yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity yet. I'm hoping that 2023 will be something where I could move around more freely.
See.
There have been a few milestones. One of it was I launched the podcast and the
Mhm.
content
Yeah.
for the my business YouTube channel, which is
Yes.
why this is like a part 2 of sorts.
Mhm.
Second year, my second season, your third season.
Mhm.
And in November last year, things started getting very crazy in a good way.
Mm.
Okay, because I've been
Okay.
doing this since I've been providing my written communication services since January 2018. So
Okay.
thankfully, because I did this way ahead, Well, before this pandemic began,
Right.
my visibility is there. Most people on Facebook, especially in my own network and my friends' network, know about the services I provide because I put it up on I put information to create awareness on my personal Facebook page, my business Facebook page, and then also about 2 years ago, this November, I created my own Facebook community. Okay, called Entrepreneurs Supporting Entrepreneurs, and it's very carefully. The content is very carefully, shall we say, curated. In that, as the it's called, it's
Yeah.
meant to be empowering, inspiring, encouraging. It's for entrepreneurs, no matter the size, whether they are solopreneur like myself or whether they are a bit more established, meaning they've got the processes and systems in place, whether they're providing products or services. And it's also for buyers, not just sellers. It's also for buyers because if we
Okay.
just have sellers, right, who's going to buy?
Correct. Actually.
Okay, so the community, then the podcast and the content for the YouTube channel. Then in November, um, the momentum that started is amazing. That's why I say it's a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
The last few months have been crazy in that I've been trying to catch up with the increase in demand, the triple to quadruple increase in demand. Because before the pandemic, my niche area, which is redesign and edit resume or CV,
Yeah.
the demand was there. You could say it was maybe 1 to 1.5 times the demand. Then once the pandemic hit, right, it doubled the demand because unfortunately for some people they lost their jobs or potentially they were told that they may be retrenched, or some very brave souls decided this is the time I want to change jobs, I want to change industries, I want to experiment and explore things. So this is why the demand for my services are tripled. And as of November last year, you can say it's like triple to 3.5. There are times when in one day there'll be like multiple inquiries, whether it's on
Wow.
Facebook or LinkedIn or like reference from existing clients or friends, you know. So that's the good thing. The not so good thing is because my work is such where I work on my own, and since the pandemic, most of my time is actually at home. Otherwise, before the pandemic, I'm the type of person, I'm always on the go. I like to spend time with people face to face, like-minded people, attending targeted networking sessions, supporting various bazaars in which one of the communities where most of my clients come from. And I'm also I actually enjoy the very positive and encouraging and supportive energy in that particular group. So that's one of the not so good things, but not exactly by choice. But unfortunately, it's because my family decided to react to the pandemic in a very extreme way. And so, yes, you were saying about endemic, but unfortunately for me, uh, it doesn't mean that my quality of life overall has improved. Okay, so I'm hoping with 2023, I am looking at collaborating and partnering with more people and growing and scaling the business further. Yes, Yuva. I'm looking at processes and systems. I'm looking at, hopefully I'll be able to find suitable people who are like-minded, who align with my values, that we can work together so that it doesn't feel like it's so overwhelming that everything is resting on my shoulders. And yes, Yuva, you and I think, talked about it last year, and offline also, you and I have talked that about perhaps there's an opportunity. You and I need to look to and see, explore what and how can we work together, because
Yeah.
you are from an educational background and you're
Yes.
also close to, I don't know, would you say halfway or three-quarter away in completing your PhD?
Okay.
So I I'm not canvassing, but you are, if you're looking for someone to proofread your thesis, you know
Yeah.
who to look for.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I will definitely consider you, but you can have maybe a friendly discount, maybe half price, maybe.
We shall see. We shall see. Yes.
Okay, we shall
We will
see.
make it a win-win situation as always.
Sure, Christian. Thank you for questioning my offer. So, Christian, just now,
Okay.
okay, Christian, just now you mentioned about creating your own community, which is empower entrepreneurs supporting entrepreneur. Am I right?
Yes. And
So,
you're a member. I invited you and you're there. You're a
yes,
little bit quiet, but I
yeah,
know from time to time you at least react to some
yeah.
posts.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. I'm gonna ask a few more questions about creating your own community. First of all, I
Yes.
want to ask you, in your opinion, why creating your own community is crucial, especially for the development of your business?
Okay. The idea of creating the community wasn't something that I did impromptu
Mm-hmm.
because one of the things that came out of this pandemic, not everything is bad or unpleasant. With this pandemic, previously when I started this business more than 5 years, 2 months ago, uh, I started from scratch. There was no mentor, there was no guide, there was nothing. I thought about it very carefully and I looked at it. Okay, what am I naturally good at? Okay. And proofreading is something I always did, but I did it free of charge. Okay. And then I learned how to write my own resume from scratch. There was nothing for me to follow. Okay.
Okay.
And then
Mm-hmm.
translation came into the picture because I'm a big movie buff. Before the
Okay.
pandemic, the cinema was my second home. That's my
Mm-hmm.
way to relax and de-stress and all that.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was a pattern going on in that when you look at the subtitles, especially for films from overseas, right? There
Yes.
will be the Malay subtitles. And when you look at the subtitles, I go there to relax and be entertained, right? Then
Yeah.
it's double entertainment and it's hilarious. Ha
Mm-hmm.
ha inside my mind, not ha ha
Mm-hmm.
outside. When
Yeah.
I see some ridiculous translation, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, excuse the long language, but which fool or which idiot actually got
Mm-hmm.
paid to do the translation?
Yeah.
I may not be what do you call it um in that position, but I'm like, I think I can do a better job. And
Mm-hmm.
translation, so I added in providing translation services. In fact, proofreading, redesign and edit resume, and translation was the first three services I provided. Then
Okay.
later only I added resume writing, copywriting, individual profile, and company profile. And interestingly, typing services. I know some people will be a bit
Mm-hmm.
baffled when they hear typing services. Okay, because I
Mm.
came across a client who had a handwritten manuscript and wanted it to be typed into Microsoft Word.
Mm.
So this is how I am very responsive to what the client wants. If it's within my knowledge, within my skill set, and it's something that I want to challenge myself,
Mm-hmm.
then I will think about it practically and see, is this something I can do or not? Okay. And so to answer your question about the community,
Mm-hmm.
I went full steam ahead into upskilling, Yuva. Okay.
Okay.
They
Mm-hmm.
were readily available, either free or nominally charged webinars and courses and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed a pattern going on. So I attended several different webinars and trainings and workshops, and all these trainers, they may present it in a different way, but
Yeah.
the commonality is they're talking about personal branding,
Mm-hmm.
creating awareness, content creation, and
Yes.
there are various ways to do it. Okay, you can do a video, you can do a FB live, Instagram live, you can do participate in online conferences and
Yeah.
all that, which I did because you and I are in the same community, the Impact Hubbers community.
Yeah.
Last year was my second year. I became a speaker and a panel moderator. And I
Mm-hmm.
invited you to take on the challenge of becoming a speaker, and you happily took it on. And I
Yeah.
think, Yuva, you enjoyed that, right? That new
Oh,
experience?
oh yes, yes. I definitely enjoy it, and also definitely enjoy um roasting you in online. So yeah, that's quite nice.
Yeah, you and I, one of our things that we do, because we've gotten to know each other very well in the last 3 years,
Mhm.
is we playfully like to tease each other.
Yeah.
So that's one of our ways of interacting with each other. So the
Mm-hmm.
community was something that in a few trainings I actually heard these experts and trainers talk about. Okay, you can have communities on different platforms. So since
Yeah.
most of my clients came from Facebook, and I'm spending a lot of time on Facebook, not just about my business, but also to communicate with friends and relatives who are overseas, okay, and in
Mm-hmm.
different time zones, okay.
Yeah.
It's only since I started my business, I spent a lot more time on Facebook than I did. Previously, it
Mm-hmm.
was like I told you, I'm a movie buff. I used to enter a couple of contests, whether for movie premiere screening tickets
Yeah.
or movie merchandise and whatever not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I thought, okay, why don't create a community on Facebook? And my intention was, I thought about it very carefully. And when I came up with with the name of the group, Entrepreneurs Supporting Entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, no matter, I'm sure some of us are more independent than others. Okay, we all
Yeah.
have our personality, character traits, and talents, and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, and we also have our own learning style. Some of us are introverts. We are very happy with our own company. We are very independent.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are extroverts. Some are both. I think, I don't know, I think there may be a term. I have to do the
Ambivert.
research.
It's called ambivert.
Ambivert. So I think I both. Okay, for the most part, I'm
Mm-hmm.
happiest when I'm surrounded with like-minded, positive thinking people. But I also enjoy my me time. I need my at least 5% me time, 95% surrounded by people. Okay. So I decided to start this community. And I
Mm-hmm.
decided that I will, I set up the rules and all that. And I said, please I first invited certain people who I know quite well in other Facebook groups. And I told them, you can invite people, but please just be a bit selective and careful of who you invite.
Yeah.
Because if they are like-minded, they align with the purpose of the group, great.
Mm-hmm.
Then, we can have a very pleasant, interactive, high energy atmosphere. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
purposes of the group is to provide a social support system using social media. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, of course, we can meet face to face and all that. But once this pandemic hit, there's some people, maybe they have various health conditions, or perhaps they have certain fears. You know, for some people, their lifestyle has changed overnight, like myself, not through choice, but through circumstances that are not completely within my control. So some people have communities on Telegram, on Discord, and some other platforms as well. So
Yeah.
community is such where you can have multiple purposes. Like in my case, it is meant to bring sellers and buyers together. And it's also
Mm-hmm.
meant to be like a place where you can share inspiring thoughts,
Yeah.
spread positive energy, have an extended family of choice, shall we say. Because as I said, I'm careful about who I approve to be members. And even I'm not, I'm curating it such that I even approve the post. I don't let the post just be approved, because when it comes to certain posts, especially when it comes to selling, whether it's products or services, the
Yeah.
necessary information needs to be there. The
Yeah.
price, the photo, method of delivery, how to contact you, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I naturally do proofreading, right? So I pick up on
Mm-hmm.
some of these things that are not quite right. And then I privately message a person and tell them, by the way, I was reviewing your post. There's
Mm-hmm.
actually something here that it would be good if you correct it, or, the contact information is missing. Can you please add it in? And I will be happy to approve it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's thank you for the explanation about why you created this community. But this time, Christian, I would like to play the role of a devil's advocate. Right?
Okay.
I would like to say, like community. Yeah, I mean, community is definitely a very wonderful tool to enhance the business. Networking and all that. In fact, one of the greatest thinkers of 20th century but he's shying away from being famous is Swami Ramatirtha, who mentioned that the three C's for success is
Uh-huh.
concentration, consistency, and
Yes.
community.
Okay.
So as you see here, the third C, especially community,
Mm-hmm.
it plays a huge role in determining whether someone can be successful or not, whether
Yes.
it in whatever field that the person choose to pursue in. However, there are some issues
Mm-hmm.
when a person runs a community. Now, from my
Okay.
observation, this is purely from my observation. It's not
Sure.
backed up from any research or what.
Okay.
There are three issues which I want to which I can see from various communities which
Okay.
I enrolled, and to answer and to to explain why I was being quiet in your own community, because the first reason, because there were just so much community online in social media, so
Okay.
it's like overload of, I mean, information is good, but when
Yes.
there's only this much that a brain can handle. So when you
True.
join too many communities, there's too many information. There's a thing called of information overload. So
Yes.
your brain can't handle it. So
Okay.
so similarly, I joined many communities, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I think your community is wonderful. Your community is wonderful, but I chose to remain a silent observer, or maybe just like
Okay.
react and all that, because as I say, there are just too many communities group out there, and
True.
we do not know which is effective, which is which is like more like a gossip group and all that, gossip circle and all that. So
Okay.
that's the first issue. The
Mm.
second issue is about the selection of members within the community itself, and
Yes.
and from your answer just now, I'm so happy that you vetted all the members and the posts personally. So that's absolutely crucial. But in some other groups, I'm not
Yes.
mentioning names. There
Sure.
are some other groups where they allow members to enter. I mean, new members to enter without
Okay.
prior vetting questions and measures, and this may create some unwanted posts, like, I mean, like hard selling posts and all this thing.
Mm.
And also thirdly, third issue is also related to the second issue is, when you don't vet your members properly, they will be tendency some toxic members will enter the group and will create some certain level of toxicity
Mm.
in the
Yes.
group, and this will
Okay.
affect the well-being of the group. So so Christian, I'm already mentioned three issues, so do you
Yes.
agree with me? And you can say your point as well.
Yes. I am also like you in a number of communities. Most of it is on Facebook. Um, yes. I so far most of the groups that I've joined, I shall I say I vetted first. Also, I look to see what is the purpose of the group, how
Mhm.
many members are there, when was it created, and in some of the groups that I've joined, actually people I know have invited me. But that doesn't mean that if it's someone who's invited me, I automatically will accept the invite. Similarly, you were saying about having a community and vetting it. I vet myself before I join a community because I'm the type of person when I see the rules, this is the do's, this is the don'ts. I'm the type to follow rules as much as possible. Okay. And yes, there are some groups that are meant for gossip, but thankfully, I think I'm not in any of them. And yes, there are some groups. I don't know which groups you're referring to where the members are not vetted, but in all of the groups that I joined, you have to answer the standard questions, uh, and then only subject to the admin of the group, your application to join as a member is accepted or declined. So yes, with regards to toxicity, unfortunately, human nature is such.
Yeah.
Most people, they dwell on the negative and they seem to thrive on spreading negative energy and
Mhm.
butting into people's personal business,
Mhm.
and they think their opinions are so important. But with regards to that, I'm not trying to justify it, but what I would like to say about that is people who do this are actually insecure. They have some deep-seated issue, whether with themselves or with their family members or some other person, and they've decided instead of dealing with those issues, they decided to lash out on other people. So they're trying to distract themselves from their problems by focusing on someone else, and their mindset is not positive. So they think they know better. They think they're right. So they pass judgment and make all sorts of comments without even knowing anything. Because when you do something like that, that's not nice. That's not polite. That's not courteous,
Yeah.
and it's unfair. So
Yeah.
that would be my comment with regard to people who are very toxic.
Mhm.
And I, as much as possible, try to steer clear from such people.
Yeah.
But it's a bit difficult, Yuva. I know you are talking about communities. I know in this case, we're talking about online communities.
Yeah.
But even offline communities, there are people who their intentions may be good, but somehow their actions and their choice of word
Mhm.
is not pleasant at all.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, as I say, I try to steer clear of such people, but when it's your own loved ones, it's very difficult, Yuva.
Understand. Yeah, truly understand. Well, Christian, like to mention this now, you mentioned about group vetting members. I mean, group admin vetting members. Because this I mean, I'm telling from personal experience because I'm also an admin group myself,
Sure.
a group admin myself. This guy, I don't mention it. This person joined this group with the initial intention, okay, by saying, okay, I want to do this, I'll buy
Mm-hmm.
the rules, blah blah blah, all this thing. But the moment this person entered the group, he started to post all this hard selling, unrelated posts and all that. So I report this post.
Okay.
So in a such in a very bizarre situation, this person went on to report me to Facebook,
Wow.
and
Can
I
I
got
just ask you, Yuva, this group that you are the admin of, what is it? What is the purpose of it?
okay. I can say it's an educational group. I can't
Sure.
say more than that. So, but basically, this person went against the group rules despite agreed earlier
Okay.
to abide to the rules. So when I report the post, this person on went on a revenge
Okay.
by reporting me to Facebook. So for I think for a good few days or almost a week,
Okay.
I could not, log in the group. So
Wow.
so I did not know. I did not know such a bizarre thing. But now the thing is back to normal. But now I told to the other admins, let's just help to moderate on my state. I don't want to bear the brunt on myself.
Yes.
So that's where I'm coming from about the
Sure.
members thing. But there's one more thing I would like to ask though. So let's say you okay now
Yes.
you created this community, right? So
Yes.
how do you deal with okay because toxic members like we can't they are not out in the open. Most of them are tend to be acting like good, but once they're comfortable, they start to open up. They are toxicity. It's like you open up the whole thing and just everything
Yes.
just flies. Everything is
Yes.
spread like a pandemic. so
Okay.
I want to ask you, in your community, I mean like, in your community, have you experienced such toxic member and how do you deal with it? I mean, you don't have to
Uh,
mention.
in the community that I created close to 2 years ago, no, there's not been any toxic members.
Mhm.
Because as I said initially, I'm the one who invited. Very carefully, I selected people to join the community,
Okay.
sellers and buyers.
Okay.
Okay, so I even invited some of my friends, and two or three friends asked me, so why are you inviting me to the group? Well, I
Mm.
said it's up to you, but I created this group such um we need sellers, we need buyers, we need supporters. Okay,
Mhm.
I would like to have a nice mix and a balance.
Mhm.
And the purpose of the group is to spread positive energy, to
Yeah.
inspire and encourage people. And
Mhm.
for those who are sellers, they can put up posts about their services or products,
Mhm.
and people who are interested can comment on it. So
Mhm.
I have very basic rules, just to be
Mhm.
polite. Don't talk about sensitive topics.
Mhm.
Make sure when you put up a post, ensure the necessary information is there. But
Yep.
unfortunately, some people don't do that. And then another thing that I was encouraging the members to do um, is, especially when it's selling posts, I was telling them, can you please just write an original post?
Mhm.
Okay, because quite a few members, because they put it on their business page or their personal
Yeah.
Facebook page,
Mhm.
and they put it also in other groups, they have this bad habit of sharing.
Uh,
Okay, they just, it just takes a what, 5 minutes or less to copy and paste. I
yeah.
don't understand why is it difficult for them to copy and paste into an actual new post rather than to share it from that page.
Yeah. There's s-
Initially I pointed it out to two or three members who were
mhm.
doing that, and for a while they behaved. Then after that, they started going back to that. And then
Yeah.
there are also some members who don't put their phone number, or they don't put some other necessary information.
Yeah.
And then if I see there's some a grammatical error or something, then I will privately tell them about it. And
Yeah.
also, in order to support them and encourage them, and because also Facebook keeps reminding me, no comment on this post. So, okay, I will go in. I will react to it. I will, for most of the posts where I can always say something about it, because whether it's accessories or foods or powders or whatever, not. Okay. But for some of them, I have to scratch my head and think, now, what exactly do I say here? This person is putting up a post on something that not exactly something I like, but maybe some other people like it. So I had to get creative on that, because with Facebook, reactions and comments will give it added traction, and it sort of automatically bumps up
Algorithm.
the
Yeah.
post.
Mhm.
So with regard to your question, whether I come across any toxic people in my community, no,
Yeah.
because even the people that the members I invited, I look through to see how long have they been on Facebook. Are they my mutual friends? What is the nature of the post on their personal page? So this is why I am thankful that I don't have people spreading toxic and energy, or making an unpleasant situation in the community.
Yeah. Thank you, Christian. Well, apparently, I'm just amazed by how Christian can convert a short question into an essay long answer. Well, this is Christian for you. This is Christian, the wordsmith, which I truly agree. The wordsmith really suits her perfectly because I just asked her a short question and she ended up being an essay long answer. And also, and then also, Christian, like you mentioned about sharing the post. Well, there's a going term words we say that sharing is caring. But I think in this case it's not a good idea because if you truly want to sell your service or provide to explain about your service to your possible client out there. So I think why not spend 5 minutes, do a write up, and then get edited by Christian herself, and then and yeah, and from there get some traction, right? So, well, sharing is caring is not a good idea. Definitely not a good idea here.
Not in this context. Yes.
Absolutely, yes. So, Christian, thank you for that. So, there's okay. So now let's gracefully move to the next part of the
Okay.
podcast. So the first part we have learned about how has the year been,
Yes.
and that's where we go deep into your community. And I hope I've done a good promotion for your community. So we will include the how the audience can join Christian's wonderful community and to entrepreneurs supporting entrepreneurs in the description. You can see it there then. So
Okay.
now the second part of the podcast is
Sure.
what are the new learnings you have learned from the past year?
What are the new learnings? I am detail oriented. I'm meticulous. I'm very careful in my choice of words when it comes to communication. But with regard to my clients, I realized that some people Even though I'm quite comprehensive when I tell them, okay, this is a service I'm providing. This is exactly what it needs. This is the time frame I need. This is the
Yeah.
quotation. And I also ask them exactly what are you looking for? Tell me as best as you can and give me the maximum information so that I can get a better idea and see if there's a fit between what they're looking for and what I can offer them.
Okay.
I've learned that, some people, I don't know, is it they like to be in control, or they maybe have so much of time on their hands. I've had some clients who I would say have been stalking and harassing me and micromanaging me, despite me telling them I will deliver on such a time. Okay. And I've also told them that if I have any questions, I will reach out to them. Okay. And then I've also realized that previously I will tell them, okay, I deliberately don't give a time. I will say I will deliver this to you on a specific date.
Yeah.
And I will tell them if something happens, if there's an emergency or I fall sick, obviously the estimated completion date I gave you may change and I will inform you. So more, I'm thankful that 99% of my clients are quite pleasant, kind, and considerate and understanding people. So when I tell them that I may need a little bit of time, or I'm not well, or when my trusty tool, the laptop, plays up, there's only so much I can do. Okay. And most of them are okay with it. Maybe a few are not so pleased about it, but I tell them, don't worry. I did say I will do it. I will do it. Don't worry about it. And so I've learned to cover areas that I didn't cover before, because I realized that some of my clients think of things that I wouldn't have thought of. Okay, so I will tell them, it's from that I initially, Yuva, when I communicated with my client, it was mostly via chat. Okay. But then I realized some of my clients have difficulty communicating effectively via chat in written form. So I decided for more than a year now, I'll ask the information to give me the material by email, because it's easier to track email rather than information on WhatsApp. In any case, I need their email address so I can send them the final work I do for them. I decided to tell them, okay, you and I need to talk. Because when you talk, it's a more dynamic, more interactive process, and it minimizes miscommunication. It minimizes misunderstanding. And then I tell my clients, especially when it comes to resume, I tell my clients, I will try the best I can to positively position you and present the information in such a way, whoever is reviewing it, there's no guessing game, there's no treasure hunt. It's very nice flow and all that, systematic. But please, I am not guaranteeing you a job. I'm not guaranteeing you an interview, because I have come across people in one of the communities where a lot of people, my clients come from there, and I'm very active as well. There's some people in the group I've never heard of. They don't comment on people's posts. They don't put up any posts. But when you see an in search of post, ISO post in the group, it's like cockroaches crawling out of the woodworks. Okay, there are people who will say, "Oh, they will tag that person." Okay, I'm all about healthy competition, but what I find is extremely challenging and disheartening is when you've not heard of people, and the people who recommend these people say, "Oh, this person did the resume for me, and I got this job. I got called for so many interviews." Because I tell my clients, I don't guarantee jobs, I don't guarantee interviews, because the resume is one small part of the application process. And I always educate my clients. There's so many other variables involved. Okay. Yes, the resume is important, but it is not the end all and be all of everything. And I became even more firm with my clients because of some unpleasant experiences with a few clients. So I would say that I'm very responsive, and I always review and reflect on things, and I like to improve in order to uh, make myself a better person, a better communicator. And additionally, my clients, as I improve, they also will get better service from me. And to give an example, Yuva,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the resume of my clients, I tell my clients, your
Okay.
resume is like a jigsaw puzzle. But sometimes I'm missing pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. So I can't see the big picture if I'm
Yeah.
missing pieces of it. So when I
Yeah.
have a phone conversation with them, then they are more relaxed. Then they know, okay,
Mm.
I have no idea what it means, even though I tell them what redesign and edit resume is. For
Mm.
some people, they don't understand the concept.
Yeah.
Okay, I coined the phrase redesign and edit resume or CV. And
Mm.
Yuva, few months ago, I saw someone using the term. And I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
oh, wow,
Mm-hmm.
redesign resume,
Mm.
edit resume.
Mm.
This is like red light
Ting.
blinking. I was like, aha, someone like chipla my term. Yeah, I
Mm.
didn't copyright it, but I didn't expect that I need to copyright something like this lah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I talk to them, then they are more relaxed. Then they're like, and when I
Mm.
talk to them, I'm not just talking about the resume. I have
Mm.
I break the ice with them. I get to
Yeah.
know them. I also explain why am I providing the service, because I wrote my own resume from scratch, and I've been
Mm.
on both sides. I've been employee, I've been employer, handling the internal recruitment. So these are some of the learnings I learned. And also the other thing is, since the pandemic hit, Yuva, this is when
Mm-hmm.
I learned to use Zoom. Otherwise,
Mm.
before this, I've not heard of Zoom. Yes, it may
Mm.
exist before, but I had no
Yeah.
use for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I learned there's this thing called Meet, there's Google Meet and all that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been like a crash course of sorts. And
Yeah.
I've risen up to the challenge, Yuva. I've
Mm-hmm.
taken advantage of opportunities that were not there. Or I
Mm-hmm.
decided, okay, let me challenge myself. Let me get out further out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And because I think positively, I think things through, I plan it out,
Mm-hmm.
and I surround my people with like-minded people
Mm-hmm.
who are positive thinking and all that. You know, when you are very clear about what you want, and you put
Mm-hmm.
in the time and the effort, and you surround yourself with positive energy and people,
Yeah.
the law of attraction, manifestation is at work. And of course,
Yeah.
I believe in the power of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But of course, things will not happen magically, Yuva.
Okay.
Things will happen in a certain way. And there are lessons to be learned from the various difficulties. So
Yeah.
life drastically changed for me once the pandemic hit, not
Mm-hmm.
because of the pandemic, but indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been learning lessons over time. So
Yeah.
I've learned a bit more about technology and, okay, what are potential issues? Why is the computer playing up? Why is the internet playing up? Why is
Mm-hmm.
Zoom playing up? And I consult people like yourself, who are more
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable and technically inclined
Mm-hmm.
whenever there's an issue that is beyond my control.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, yes, we have Google and YouTube, but when you're on a time constraint, it's best to ask an expert lah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Christian, thank you for thank you for sharing. Yeah, but then actually I wanted to interrupt in between, but then I don't want to
Sure.
disturb your flow of your essay long answer, another essay long answer. So
Okay.
this now, for the benefit of the audience, you mentioned about typing the post, right? You say ISO. So what does ISO means?
ISO is not International Standards Organization, which is the very well-known
Yeah.
standards for
Mhm.
companies and whatever not
Yeah.
processes. But I did actually explain it earlier, but I'm happy to repeat it again.
Mm-hmm.
ISO is in search of post.
Okay.
Meaning,
In search of.
if you are looking for an event planner, or you want to order a cake, or you need to buy a dress, so you need to find someone to fetch your children, you
Mm-hmm.
put up an ISO, in search of post.
Yeah.
And this is something I only learned about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Initially, I was like, ISO poster, what is this? Then I was like, okay. Someone also asked the question. I didn't ask the question. Someone else also had the same thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's ISO. Then only I learned from that person asking the question. In search.
In search of. Okay. So yeah. So I so when you mention ISO means in search of, it kind of like has a similar function to hashtag. So so does these two work together, or which
Okay.
is more empowering than others? Which is more like better coverage than the other?
Okay. In search of posts, actually, Yuva, doesn't really have anything to do with hashtag. Hashtag
Okay.
is more like when you are posting on LinkedIn or Instagram and Facebook. Hashtag is like, how shall we put it? When you put hashtags and like someone does a search, whether it's on Instagram or
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
if that hashtag that you put in into your post, which
Yeah.
is not some random hashtag,
Okay.
there are various tools where you can go and check what is the trending
Correct. Hashtag.
hashtag, and the
Yeah.
hashtag is actually normally like a keyword. So,
Mm-hmm.
like for me, my tagline is Chrishanne the Wordsmith, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in most of my posts, I will end my post, whether it's a selling post or a personal post, because I want, this is part of my personal branding, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I know everyone has short attention spans, but when you
Yeah.
put something interesting, you put something catchy, and they see it over and over again,
Yeah.
you are brainwashing them, shall I say,
Mm-hmm.
indirectly brainwashing them.
Yeah.
So what they will recall. So they know, like, and deliberately, my tagline is Chrishanne the Wordsmith. Chrishanne as in
Yeah.
my name, the
Mm-hmm.
Wordsmith as in it represents what I do, written
Yeah.
communication services.
Mm-hmm.
So hashtags is a simple way of, if you do a search on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
someone types in proofreading, or someone types in copywriting, someone types in empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
your post will appear in the search results.
Yeah.
Okay, so in search of post is like, instead of like, normally before the age of handphones and all that, we all had this fixed line and we'll call each other and say,
Correct.
okay, I need to buy this dress, so I need to get a cake for this event.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any recommendations? Do you have any suggestions? This was the simple way word of mouth was done.
Yeah.
Okay. And then with social media, it
Mm-hmm.
went to another level altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Word of mouth, there's actually a term called word of mouth marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is something I think that only became popular in the last few years. And in one of
Mm-hmm.
the communities I joined, this is where I learned the term word of mouth marketing. So
Okay.
using hashtags is just a tool, Yuva. It's
Yeah.
not really directly related to in search of posts. But when you
Mm-hmm.
put up a post, whether it's a selling post or you put up a post about maybe your personal sharing or something, you see, I put up posts on a variety of things like festive. When it's a festivity, I put up posts. Then I will create certain relevant hashtags for it. The standard one that will always be there is the wordsmith. Okay. The other hashtags will be in the context of that post. So
Mm-hmm.
besides my selling posts, I also put up posts where when I come across these lovely posters, some of my friends like to put it
Mm.
on Facebook or
Yeah.
Instagram. And I have friends who like to send good morning messages with these lovely words.
Yeah.
So, as I was telling you, I'm all about spreading positive energy and
Yeah.
empowering and encouraging and inspiring people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways, indirectly, also people get to know my writing style and my way of thinking and perspective
Correct.
is
Yeah.
when I put up these posts and I share my personal experience, and then I
Mm-hmm.
give them an alternative perspective, and
Correct.
it's tied into that particular uh, inspirational words that I come across.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've been getting some good responses to it. So it makes my day when people take the time to react to it. And I'm on cloud nine when people
Mm-hmm.
actually take the time to put some really heartfelt, very thoughtful comments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, before the pandemic, life was different. Post
Yeah.
pandemic, endemic, different people have some people have bounced back very quickly.
Yeah.
Some people perhaps are still not bounced back yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, we each take our time to deal with situations.
Correct.
Okay. So it makes
Yes.
I'm on, I don't know if there's above cloud 9, I don't know if there is. If there's
Mm-hmm.
a next level to that, I'm very happy
Mm-hmm.
and thrilled when people say, this, what your post resonates with me, or I actually needed to see this, I needed to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, when I see my friends posting such things,
Mm-hmm.
it sort of automatically gives me encouragement. It's like a positive boost. And let's say you're not having such a great day, you
Mm-hmm.
know, something has gone wrong, and
Yeah.
you're not exactly in a very positive frame of mind,
Yeah.
or something tragic has happened. When you see someone sharing something heartfelt,
Mm-hmm.
or they are talking about something, their choice of words or their image, somehow it touches you. It gives
Yeah.
you that consolation. It gives you that motivation.
Mm-hmm.
We are all social creatures, Yuva. And
Correct.
one not so good thing about the pandemic is
Mm-hmm.
um, those of us who are used to face-to-face interaction and spending a lot of time with people, that really got very badly affected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is why hashtags can be also a good tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Mm.
hope that answers your question about ISO and hashtags.
Yes, Christian. Thank you for that. Another elaborate answer. Well, just now you did mention though, is there any word beyond the word overjoy? Well, I mean, or cloud 9. Well,
Yes,
yes, actually there is. So, okay, let's do a little lesson of English grammar.
sure.
So we start at the lowest level called happy. Okay,
Yes,
happy. The next level is joy. Okay,
yes.
the next level is overjoy.
Uh-huh.
Hashtag I mean as a slash cloud 9,
Uh-huh.
and then further up the most top the highest level of happiness is bliss. So I think you're looking for the word bliss,
Ah.
right?
Okay. Perhaps, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be the next level to being overjoyed. Yes.
Okay, and
Yes,
then
thank
also,
you for that suggestion.
well, I don't mind, do some, I mean, give some extra input to the wordsmith. I know language is your forte, but I don't mind give extra input because after all, I'm an educator myself. So,
Sure.
well, and then Christian, like you did mention about, like someone posting, I mean, especially from your rivals, I mean, from your competitors in
Uh-huh.
this line, and someone, CP say, oh, I used a resume and I got the job. So there is a term for all this. They call it clickbaiting.
Uh-huh.
Clickbaiting. So it's like,
Yes.
the word click and bait.
Yes. Yes.
So basically it's like it's encouraging people when they read this post say, wow, this person use the resume from this copywriter, from this
Yes.
proofreader, and he got job. I still must go lah.
Okay.
So it's all clickbaiting. So it all works in the algorithm, which is I think in a way, if you use it in a good way, it can boost your post. But
Uh-huh.
if you use it unethically, like you will still get some profit, but it's not lasting. So how we can use clickbaiting in a good way is that, for example, that's where the likes, the engagement, the interaction, the likes,
Mm-hmm.
the emojis, the reaction, the comments, all this plays a role. And
Yes.
recently, Christian, I not recently, I mean like few years, I mean it was like a year or two ago,
Okay.
I started to see the word bump, 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 bump,
Yes.
bump. I was like, what is it? What is that? I know there's a hump day, which is Wednesday, but bump, 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 bump. I was like, then when I Google my ever reliable information portal,
Your best buddy, Mr. Google.
uh, Uncle Google, I call it
Oh,
Uncle Google.
Uncle Google, huh?
Yeah, Uncle
Ah.
Google. So from that's where I got to know bump is actually bring up my post. BUMP.
Oh. Oh, so it's an acronym. I
Yes,
see. Thank
absolutely.
you for enlightening me on this, Yuva, because it would not have occurred to me that BUMP is an acronym.
Yeah.
Okay, what I understood in practical terms, because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it in that very active community both you and I are in,
Mm-hmm.
I will see up, I will see bump.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought bump and up
Mm.
is just putting a word there that
Yeah.
Facebook's algorithm recognizes to
Yeah.
push up the post.
Yeah.
So bump is bring up my post.
Yes.
Cool. So I wonder whether up has a meaning
well,
beyond the two alphabets or
well,
not.
up is up. That's what up is up.
What goes up must come down. Gravity.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, like, especially the Gen Z people, they say, oh, okay, I'm gonna write 4 letters, lazy lah. I write still up. So it gives the same function. But yeah, so now do you know bump is actually bring up my post? The function is, as you know, to increase the engagement towards a post. And, especially like for you out there who have like, posts who want to interact, you can use the bump. It's a secret.
A secret is not really a secret now.
Yeah, so it's open secret right now. So yeah. So Chrishanne, in a way that in your previous two long essay answers, you've also touched a bit of your third part, which is like what are the challenges that you face in the year 2022, which is like
Mm-hmm.
you face some ridiculous clients, I'll say, like with some error editing and all that. But however, maybe to make your life a bit easier in the year 2023, maybe we can say right now in black and white,
Mm-hmm.
what are the type of clients that I mean, what are type of people, a group people that that is not suitable for okay, I need to energy better. Okay, what are not your type of clients? Simple said. Yeah.
Okay, that is a very good question. There's no simple answer to it,
Mm-hmm.
but let me say my ideal clients would be people who are open-minded, optimistic, liberal. They give you the benefit of the doubt rather than prejudge.
Yeah.
They're patient, kind, thoughtful people who are not fickle. Fickle meaning they make a decision. Because I've
Yeah.
got clients also who ghosted me, potential clients who ghosted me, Yuva.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
initially I got a little bit disheartened and a bit upset. I was like, why is it? I take the time and effort. When they reach out to me, I very quickly respond, no matter what's going on. I'm good at multitasking. So when I'm used to responding to messages, sometimes I get messages in the wee hours of the morning, Yuva.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the pandemic, my lifestyle, I said, changed. I am
Yeah.
awake at that time. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I choose not to respond to the messages. I'll wait
Yeah.
until 8 o'clock or something in the morning.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, so my ideal clients are actually people who value the time and effort and the service I provide.
Yeah.
And most of the people who reach out to me are people who either, as I was saying earlier, they are referred from my existing clients,
Mm-hmm.
referred from friends in that very
Mm-hmm.
active and dynamic community.
Yeah.
These are the people who tag me. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
there are people who also, when I ask them, because not only am I on LinkedIn, very active on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, and I'm also there on Instagram, even though Instagram is more a visual place and mine is more written communication. I just get a bit creative by using images
Mm-hmm.
to attract attention. And I know
Mm-hmm.
Yuva has this obsession with one of the images that I like to put up when it comes to proofreading. Yuva loves the random anonymous cat who he thinks is my unpaid labor. Actually, some random cat in some
Mm.
image that one of my friends sent to me several years ago. And if you look at that image very carefully, the cat is peering over a piece of paper in a printer,
Mm.
and it
Mm.
looks as if the cat is proofreading. So
Mhm.
occasionally, when I put up posts for proofreading, I use that image
Mhm.
because it's a very fun, very light-hearted, very curious. It's like sort of ties in a little bit about there's a saying, curiosity killed the cat. In this cat,
Mhm.
the cat, fictitious cat, is, I suppose,
Mhm.
alive, Even though, yes, we do have an orange cat at home, but no, Yuva, this is not the cat
Okay.
in that image.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's all about creating awareness. This is why I engage with people, I educate with people, I educate people about what it means, about the various services I provide. We design and edit resume. Translation, people may think is very easy, but actually no, Yuva. It's
Mm-hmm.
about speed, it's about accuracy, it's about context.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
SAC. SAC. Yep.
Okay, fine. A short term, an acronym that you have concocted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And English to Malay translation, I find, is quite straightforward. But
Mm-hmm.
Malay to English is where I find the challenge.
Yeah.
Because in the English language, there are lots of words. But in the Malay language, if you look at it, I have not looked to see what is the total number of words in Malay and the total number of words in English. But
Mm-hmm.
it is increasing slowly because a lot of English words, they change the spelling and suddenly it's a Malay word.
Okay. Oh yes.
Yeah.
I
So
know what you
the
mean.
Malay to English translation can be quite challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to, like, see, I translated a company's hair dye product.
Mm,
Imagine
okay.
translating, I believe I was asked to translate, I think Malay to English, I was asked to translate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hair product, hair dye. Okay. And then there's some terms that I use that, it's not that going to be that easy to translate it
Okay.
from Malay to English. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the translation, and I've also done some translation of some, official letters and all that. And I'm thankful that I reached out to people who are using Bahasa Malaysia or Malay very often. And Yuva is one of them because as an educator, he teaches in English and
Mm-hmm.
he uses Malay a
Yeah.
lot, okay, in
Mm-hmm.
national schools, and it's also our national language.
Yeah.
So I also look at the dictionary. I also
Mm-hmm.
look at Google Translate
Yeah.
because one of the reasons why I provided translation services is I spent 3 years in the US, continuing,
Mm-hmm.
and I graduated with my degree. So my Malaysian friends all spoke English. So I did not use much of Malay there. So before I went to the US, my command of Malay was very good. I
Mm-hmm.
came back 3 years later,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, language is something, if you don't use it, your competency and level of fluency deteriorates. I decided, okay, kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm.
Help someone, and by using the language, build up my level of fluency and competency again. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was the intention of why I added on translation.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I will stop here before Yuva says another essay long answer.
Well, I was about to say that again, but it's okay. I mean, that is Christian. That's Christian for you. That's Christian for you.
Yes, because if I say short and sweet, Yuva, people may not necessarily understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that is Christian short and sweet answer. Well, on a lighter note, since you mentioned about orange cat, just want to remind you, the SPCA Act is in. There is a thing called SPCA Act. So just to
Uh-huh.
remind you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Noted.
Okay.
Noted. Yeah, because as
Okay.
I said, it's a fictitious cat. I'm doing all the work.
Fair enough.
That
Fair
image
enough.
is just to catch people's attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so now we have come to the final part of the podcast. It's like,
Yes.
okay, let's say for some reason you got a magical time machine, like
Mm-hmm.
the novel The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, the famous novel. If you have a time machine, or maybe you are like Michael J. Fox in the movie Back to the Future,
Okay.
using the car.
Yes.
If you could go back in time, the past year, is there anything that you will say, if I do this, if I do the opposite thing, it will be better, and which one and why? Just one.
Okay, I'm going to answer this from a personal perspective because
Okay,
enough
all
of
right.
the professional discussion and the business and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, so we're only talking if I can go back 1 year behind time, not a specific period of time, is it? With the
Yeah, I
time machine?
think because we did our marathon episode the last time, and it was
Yes.
I did ask the same question. So, from I mean
Yes, you
from
did.
the past 12 months, the past 12 months, is there anything you want to change, and what's the thing that okay, this is part I should do better, and why you say so?
Okay. The one thing I would want to change in this last 1 year is um as I was saying, once the pandemic hit, my loved ones decided to deal with the situation in a very extreme way.
Yeah.
And I had to make certain sacrifices, and I'm still making those sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted, because I tried talking to my family members about coming up with a compromise and being reasonable and
Yeah.
considerate.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, when it's one person, and you are outnumbered by 6 or 7 other people
Yeah.
who are going along with what one or two people say,
Mm-hmm.
it's a minority that's dealing with the majority. One of the
Mm-hmm.
decisions that I wanted to do and I was determined to do, and I wouldn't say it's not a regret. It's not that I am beating myself up, but one of the things is I wanted to move out of the family home because I tried talking to them and telling them that not having freedom of movement, not being able to do the simplest things in life, like go for a walk and get fresh air, to take a break from the environment at home, would greatly benefit me. And before the pandemic hit, 95% of the time I spent outside of the house, even though I work from home, because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
people person. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I got plenty of exercise well before the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the 1 year before the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to get used to using public transportation after so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I adapted my lifestyle accordingly. So one of the things I would change, Yuva, if I had a time machine, or like what is it, Star Trek? I can go. What is it? I can go warp speed to a certain period of time last year. Would be to, even though my family was not enthusiastic about me wanting to, with my idea of moving out of family home, so that they could go along with living life in a very rigid, regulated way, because they were succumbing to the paranoia and fear that was being propagated by the authorities and others. And
Mm-hmm.
I do not agree with that viewpoint, would be to have continued to actually take action and move out of the family home. Because I feel if I had done that, even though it would have been extremely challenging in many ways, um, and there would be some implications and consequences that would have come out of that, uh, I will be better off. My mental health, my physical health, my emotional health
Mm-hmm.
would be at optimum. It wouldn't be in a situation where I have good days and a lot of not so good days. But Yuva, I'm hoping that I'm in a position this year, very soon, to make that a reality.
That's good.
Okay, because I'm trying, I have started the process, and I'm trying to find a way where it can be sustainable and I can be completely independent, because there's one particular aspect that is not completely 110%.
Yeah.
So that would be it, Yuva.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Christian. And yeah, as a friend, I wish you that you can come out of the toxic environment soon. The sooner the better. Because like for business part, I don't want this client to lose a wonderful a good copywriter and proofreader like you. And also as a friend, I'm truly concerned of your well-being as well. So yeah, thank you, and also happy to hear that you are making some waves in to make it a reality. So I'm hoping the best for you.
Yes, thank
And
you.
yeah, and also let's go to the second last question of the
Sure.
podcast. What are your hopes for the coming year? Yeah, I know it's already like the end of the third month of the year.
Yeah,
So
we are almost into the first quarter.
yeah. So what are your hopes for the remaining three quarters of the year?
My hopes is I'll start off personally and then I will talk about professionally.
Okay.
Personally is to be able to freely move about, to catch up with friends in person, which I've missed very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, there's technology, and devices, so I can still somewhat interact with them.
Okay.
To have freedom of movement, to be able to do the things that I was able to do, like go for that community which is very dynamic, the Wind Bazaar, to meet new friends and old friends at the bazaar, and also to go for face-to-face networking sessions and trainings.
Okay.
And I was telling you that I'm looking at collaboration and partnership.
Yeah.
So that I think is best done face to face.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, I think, something. And then also, I am looking at, yes, I want to grow and build a business. I was telling you, I was looking at systems and
Yeah.
processes
Mm-hmm.
and trying to find other people to work with as well. I
Mm-hmm.
have identified some people, but, in the long term, it's not easy to know who's the one who's aligned and shares the same values and commitments and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the other thing is also to be in such a position where I can move out of the family home, live by myself, do the things that I couldn't do in these last 3 years.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, also uh, with having my own space, not only will I try personally and professionally, because it would be when you are in a very neutral, positive environment, then the
Mm-hmm.
flow of positive energy and manifestation, and this ties into the abundance mindset and the law of attraction would be greater,
Mm-hmm.
more. And I believe I will be able to achieve a lot more. I have achieved a lot in these last 3 years. But if everything is in an ideal situation where I can do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it, and I could, if someone says, I'd like to know more about what you do, can we meet up for coffee? Or, I would like to go for a community event where I get to learn a new skill or, catch up with friends. That would be great. So that would be some of the things that would be my goal. And of course, I'm also looking at the financial aspects of things because uh, one not so good thing about the pandemic, Yuva, is uh, cost of living has tremendously increased since the pandemic hit. Because of various, there was a disruption in the supply chain. And yes, thankfully, we have like third party courier services to deliver items and pick up items for us.
Yeah.
But once I'm able to go out into the world, I believe I can capitalize more on what I've already built on.
Yeah.
And when you do that, also, you can cut down on certain costs that you don't really incur when
Mm-hmm.
you can actually go and do things by yourself rather than
Yeah.
expect a
Correct.
third party and have to pay for the service.
Yes. All right. So yeah, thank you, Christian. And I just pray that whatever you wish for and plan for the remaining three quarter of the year will be materialized. So now we have come to the final part of the podcast. Let's incur some little fun, okay?
Okay.
Let's do some little fun in the podcast. This is
Okay.
called a quick fire round where I'll
Uh-huh.
give you two options
Yes.
and you have to answer which one do you prefer more. Okay?
Okay.
So can we start?
Sure.
Okay, first one. Um, um, uh, Resume writing or proofreading?
Oh, that's a tough one, Yuva.
One answer, one answer. Just one answer.
Okay. You actually know the answer to this question because I've told you about this previously when you and I have our off-camera interaction.
Okay.
Between resume writing and proofreading, Yuva, because I love reading.
One word.
And
one
it's
word.
also a good way to gain knowledge.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for explaining, but just one word answer. Okay.
Sure.
strictly one word answer. Okay.
Okay.
Next one. Translation or copywriting?
Translation.
Okay. Next one. AI, artificial intelligence, or manual? I'm putting you on a spot.
This is a trick question, Yuva. Okay, I will go, since I don't know what context in which we're talking about, I will go with manual.
I see. Okay. Okay. Next one. Mental health versus good pay.
Mental health, that's a no-brainer.
No brainer. Okay. Last one. The most difficult question. Okay.
Oh, that's a difficult question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Difficult question. Orange cat or black cat?
You cheeky fellow.
Okay. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Obviously orange cat lah.
Okay.
Because we
Good.
got an orange, we happen to have an orange cat at home.
Okay.
I have no what's the word? I'm not superstitious, so I have no issue with a black cat. Even
Okay.
black cats can be beautiful, but we happen to have an orange cat.
Mhm.
And the orange cat is also in that poster of mine, which I use sometimes for proofreading. So orange.
Mm.
And
So
orange is one of my favorite colors, Yuva.
So you see, you do utilize animals cuteness as to promote business. So yeah. So
Fictitious images.
got it. Okay. So Chrishanne, on that light note, we end our podcast for today. And Chrishanne, before we end the podcast, is there any final words, any final message you want to say to the audience?
Sure. My message to everyone, whether they are looking at listening to the podcast, or which I'm also going to make use of this content and put it on my podcast and the video one on my business YouTube channel, is for those of you who things are not so easy, it's a difficult time. When you think that there's no hope, when everything looks a little dark, persevere.
Yeah.
All is not lost. Try to find the beauty, try to find the positive aspects. Sometimes when things look so dark or bleak, this is the time when you have to draw strength. You have to be resilient. And if you do need help, reach out and ask for help. Yeah. Because asking for help is a strength. It's not a weakness. And I'm sure there'll be people who will be happy to reach out to you. And you can reach out to Yuva, or you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to anyone. So don't try to do everything by yourself, even though you may be the most independent person. But, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Yes, we can learn from Mr. Google, YouTube, Wikipedia, and all that. But when it comes to certain things, I think it's best to ask the experts.
Yeah.
So I am sharing and wanting to convey positive energy and cheer and motivation that when you are at the bottom, the only way is up. Okay? So always look at things from a positive perspective, even the most tragic and sad thing. It just means you have to dig deep. Okay? There's always going to be something positive. And how can you do this? Spend time with positive people. If you like podcasts, listen to people who you like Deepak Chopra is one of the good ones. Yeah. And there are others as well. And also, don't be hard on yourself. Okay? You need to be kind. You need to love yourself. Because when you're kind and you love yourself, then only can you say, things will somewhat go a bit smoother. And when you are doing that, then you will attract positive energy. You send out positive energy and be
That's right.
proactive. Don't expect things to happen for you. Take the action. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be perfect.
very
Take the
true.
step, take the action, and reach out to anyone. If you don't know how, ask for help.
Very
Okay,
true.
don't suffer in silence.
Very true.
Okay, so, and what do you call it? As the saying goes, united we stand,
Yeah,
divided we fall. There
yeah,
is strength in numbers. So
yeah.
don't feel like you have to do everything by yourself.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's not meant to be such a heavy thing, but I just want to give a very solid, reflective, and a message is such that I think some people may need to hear it.
Yeah.
What about you? What would be your last words to the viewers and listeners?
Well, as a friend, I would like to say this final, the last stanza of the song "Bridge Over Troubled Water" by Simon and Garfunkel. Have you heard the song?
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of my
Oh,
favorite
yes.
song,
That's
and
one of my favorite songs.
yeah. So I would like to dedicate the last stanza of the song to my friend here. Okay, sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind. Like a bridge over troubled water, I will ease your mind.
Wow. Yeah. 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 That is a song with really very meaningful lyrics. And yeah, you just because you mentioned that, Yuva, music is also a good way. If
Yeah.
you're feeling troubled or you need some energy boost or something,
Mhm.
listen to lively, upbeat music or whichever singer that you like, and that will also, help you, because music transcends everything, and also love, you know. And one last thing I would like to say, Yuva, everyone who's listening or watching this, please reach out to others. Not only when you need help, but just send them, give them a call or send a message or send a joke or something, and to show them that you care and you value them. You when you do that, you will make their day, and they will know that they are important, they are valued, and they are loved.
Yeah.
That is very important.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Christian, for the wonderful, piece of advice and points that you say, and yeah, thank you for the valuable inputs that you share in this podcast episode. And yes, we will see the third edition of this sun in the next season, hopefully. So, Christian, thank
Okay.
you so much. Thank you so much for coming into the podcast episode, and I will share as part of my support to you. I will share all your credential, all your social media. I mean, how people can reach you through the various means of social media, so that they can reach you, and who knows, maybe you can get extra clients from there. So, Christian, thank you so much, and thank you, audience, for listening to this podcast episode. I'll see you in the next podcast episode. Bye bye,
Yes.
and take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone, and see you again, Yuva.
Okay, goodbye and sayonara.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Sayonara.